Hello, this is Duke from Duke It Out, and welcome to another episode of Weekly 5. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, you know the main news topic I'm going to be discussing from this week. We've all been discussing the main news topic from this week, but to avoid spoilers, I'm not going to mention it yet, and we'll just go through the entire Weekly 5 news list. I said no spoil! Number 5, Johnny Elite. The Joker in AEW's Owen Hart Cup tournament bracket was revealed this past Wednesday on Dynamite, and it was none other than John Morrison, or Johnny Impact, or Johnny Mundo, or who is now being known as Johnny Elite. Which, funny fact, AEW's TNT Twitter account accidentally said it was Johnny Gargano, and a few Rebel hearts died inside. Johnny performed a great match against Samoa Joe, and while it was a little obvious that Joe was going to take the win, it's great to see one of the most underrated WWE talents of the 21st century be able to perform some great televised matches. And hey, if it doesn't work out with AEW, he could wrestle around the world to become Johnny New Japan. Number 4, Ric Flair's in-ring return. And in case you don't know, Ric Flair is 73. Not too long ago, there were some videos released of Ric Flair and Jay Lethal bumping around a little bit in the ring. It honestly looked really good, and especially for the Nature Boy's age. But now it has been announced that Ric Flair is going to be stepping into the squared circle for one more match, with Flair himself posting, "The rumors are true. I'm going to walk that aisle, style and profile, one last time. July 31st, Nashville, Tennessee, Jim Crockett Productions." Wrestling in 2022 is messing with my brain in so many ways. Ric's opponent for his final match has not been revealed yet. There was a rumor that it could have been Ricky Steamboat, but it seems he declined it. Smarter move in my eyes. But if Ric wants to wrestle again, let him do his thing, I guess. But with one of the most fantastic legacies in the history of wrestling, any risk of it being tainted will bring mostly fear and concern that Ric doesn't die. Number 3, Hikaru Shida Shoots on AEW. Hikaru Shida is the longest reigning AEW Women's World Champion in history, lasting 372 days. Her spotlight had fallen off a bit since then, with her biggest highlight of the year so far being her loss in the great street fight against Serena Deeb. It was then odd when AEW announced that Shida would no longer be competing in the Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament due to injury, being replaced by Chris Statlander. Hikaru decided to take it to Twitter, saying, "Well, I already had 4 matches since the street fight and just finished the greatest wrestling musical show, but I seem to have been injured. Japanese wrestling is nothing for them. I'm so sorry, and sorry I couldn't be in the tournament too." Woof. Shida has cleared it up a little bit since then, expressing her happiness for Statlander, wishing her luck in the tournament, and expressing that she'll be enjoying her holiday in Japan. But especially with AEW's recent partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's not a great look. Number 2, Stephanie McMahon leaves WWE. No, not permanently. But Stephanie McMahon announced that she will be taking a leave of absence from the majority of her responsibilities in WWE to have more time to focus on family. This is a huge shock, especially since Stephanie takes care of major responsibilities with the company, including almost all of the media and charity work. Talent and other staff seem to be shocked as well, with many claiming they had no idea of the announcement until Steph tweeted it. It seems that Nick Khan will be taking place of those duties during her absence. Congratulations, WWE. You got us to immediately miss Stephanie. It was also announced earlier today that Triple H is going to be heading back to his duties full-time after his cardiac event. So it seemed that Triple H and Steph have switched over in the full-time parenting gig. We have no idea how long Stephanie will be gone from the company, but it's been great to see the support on social media from current and former talent from the company. And number 1, the Sasha and Naomi Walkout. When it comes to wrestling news, this seems to be the most talked about topic from fans during the week, like I mentioned earlier in the video. On Monday Night Raw, it was announced there was going to be a 6-pack challenge between Sasha Banks, Naomi, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Nikki Cross, and Doudrop to determine the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's title. From the multiple stories told by Pro Wrestling Insiders, apparently Naomi was supposed to win the match, facing Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship. But before anything could come to fruition, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of the Monday Night Raw taping. WWE themselves even made a statement on the situation, which is rare for this type of occurrence. The statement says, "When Sasha Banks and Naomi arrived at the arena this afternoon, they were informed of their participation in the main event of tonight's Monday Night Raw. During the broadcast, they walked into WWE Head of Talent Relations John Laurinaitis' office with their suitcases in hand, placed their tag team championship belts on his desk, and walked out." Weird that they said belts, how they're so against that term. They claimed they weren't respected enough as tag team champions, and even though they had 8 hours to rehearse and construct their match, they claimed they were uncomfortable in the ring with 2 of their opponents, even though they'd had matches with those individuals in the past with no consequence. Those 2 are apparently Becky Lynch and Asuka. Monday Night Raw is a scripted live TV show whose characters are expected to perform the requirements of their contract. We regret we were unable to deliver as advertised tonight's main event. This is a very wild and confusing situation because you can understand the frustrations of both Sasha and Naomi. It was also rumored that Sasha was going to have a title shot as well at Hell in a Cell against Ronda Rousey, but that would just make the women's tag team champions look extra weak, and the belts already get half-ass booking at best. If you couldn't guess already, apparently both Sasha and Naomi were supposed to lose those world title matches. So I could see why they would question the point of doing it, but you could also understand the anger from the other side here. One, we could always get being angry at not being treated to our best extent. And you can understand the anger that people might have towards Sasha and Naomi for abandoning fans that pay to see them or people that put the match together, along with the talent. But apparently there has not been much sympathy backstage, especially towards Sasha. It's been worded around that Naomi was more of the follower in this situation, with Sasha being the leader. I doubt that WWE is going to fire Sasha or Naomi because, one, AEW, but if they end up refusing to compete, they could just freeze their contracts and it will go down a much more disastrous rabbit hole. As of now, this is more of a he said, she said scenario. Either another case of WWE treating talent badly, or the fact that this is Sasha's second walkout from the company, with both times involving the women's tag team titles. But I do feel really bad for Naomi, Sasha, and all the workers that had to deal with the aftermath once Raw was on the air. What a mess. Well, more stuff happened after I recorded the video. On SmackDown, Michael Cole addressed the Sasha and Naomi situation, with Pat McAfee awkwardly reacting next to him. Cole explains that Sasha and Naomi let us down. They have also been stripped of the women's tag team championships, and there will be a tournament to crown new champions. For anyone thinking it's a work, I'm hoping this took away some belief. So that was another episode of Weekly 5. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and duke out your opinions below in the comments.